The new intros are here. So, yeah, I'm obviously not in my normal place right now, but this was the only way I could do the review for the first episode of She-Hulk. So, I've also got a screening for Beast later today, so when you see that review, I'll be back in the normal spot. So, anyway, again, if you're not familiar with whenever I review a comic book thing, I tend to give my very overall thoughts at the beginning and then have a really big spoiler section. So you'll know where the breakpoints will be. So again, overall thoughts, then big spoilers. Okay? Okay, so the first episode of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, is going to get a B- in this case. I don't know if I could drop all the way down to a C. There were parts of this that I really did like. A lot of the character banter. I do like how they handle a lot of things. The funny thing is, in drawback terms, though, this is a show I think really would have benefited from having 2 episodes premiere at one on the first day. Just having 1 episode felt really kind of meager, for lack of a better term. I don't think the first episode is only 38 minutes long, so it really doesn't. It covers a lot in a very short amount of time, and I really wish they had a little bit more time to cover it, if that makes sense. And another funny thing is, for as many people who were complaining about the She-Hulk effects and the trailers and everything, they are not the worst effects in this. In fact, I would almost argue the regular Hulk effects are much worse. So, yeah, again, overall, it is interesting enough that I would warrant watching the rest of the series, but not enough to give it a super high recommendation. There's some good humor, but again, like I said, the first episode is a little too bare bones for my tastes.
Smash! The power of the Hulk can be yours when you need it with Hulk Hands. Hulk Hands, hear them roar. With all the thunderous sounds of the Hulk built in. The power of the Hulk is in your hands.
I've got the power of the Hulk in my hands, and I like it!
Hulk Hands with real Hulk sounds. Is there a Hulk in you?
That's fantastic.
Okay, again, this is the spoiler section, so skip to this point if you want to avoid everything. Alright, so, basically, this is the big explanation episode. Like I said, this is only 38 minutes long, which is why I felt that maybe premiering 2 episodes the first week would have been a little more beneficial to this series. It just, like I said, this is very short, if that makes any sense. I mean, like I said, it's 38 minutes long. You know, usually these things debut in almost an hour. The first episode deals, it's basically a big recap. We get a brief introductory bit where Jennifer Walters is preparing to make closing arguments in a case. Her male coworker, doesn't really believe so much in her argument too well. However, her female coworker and best friend Ginger seems to know that she's actually a Hulk. At this point, Jen breaks the 4th wall and reveals how this came to be. So, we then kind of flash back. I don't know exactly how far back this is supposed to be, but it is definitely after the blip, and I believe, again, after the events of Endgame. We have Bruce, who is wearing a device that is allowing him to maintain a human appearance just a little bit longer and control his transformations. They're traveling in a car. They're talking because Jen has this theory that Captain America has been a virgin the entire time. because he's so good and pure and he wouldn't dare do anything like that. Basically, she's trying to get Bruce to admit that Cap actually did sleep with someone at some point. But it's then that this spaceship appears in the middle of the road. Bruce later identifies what the race was, but he didn't quite catch it. And it causes the car to careen into a small ravine. Now, this is where the comic really does differ. In the comics, Jennifer gets her powers because Bruce gives her a blood transfusion to save her life. In this case, Jennifer is helping Bruce get out of the car because it's upside down. He is pinned, and his device, he starts bleeding into her. After that, also his device breaks, so he hulks out, she hulks out, and the next thing Jen knows, she's outside this bar in tattered clothing. She stumbles in to try to see if she can use the phone or the restroom. A bunch of women give her a makeover, which is nice, and then a bunch of guys in on her, so she hulks out again. It's at this point that Bruce finds her and brings her back to the place in Mexico where he managed to sort of merge him, create the, as he calls, Smart Hulk, you know, what a comic fan would call the Professor. So I'll get to that when we get to there, but this is where I think the difference from the comics is actually a bit of a benefit. And the idea of, you know, Bruce willingly exposing his cousin to his gamma-irradiated blood would probably not be a good idea. Like, he should, yeah, it's one of those, you think he would have known better to do something like that, you know, even in the most dire of circumstances, but still, and at least in this case, you know, the idea of their blood sort of just accidentally mingles because she's pulling him out and he's bleeding, and yeah, so that, like I said, that works a little bit better. And later, when Bruce is analyzing their blood, he said their DNA contains some rare additive, some rare property that allows them to metastasize or something, gamma radiation, absorb it. You know, because they get lethal doses of it instead of, you know, getting sick and dying like a normal person would. They, you know, transform into their Hulks. And right off the bat, Jen actually does seem to have a bit more control of her personality in her She-Hulk form. So again, something else the MCU has not really done with the Hulk, which is address the idea that he has dissociative identity disorder, and that's why the Hulks manifest the way they do. And that's why, yeah, so it's like, you know, but he, you know, he still has to coach her through, get her to control her transformations so that, you know, she doesn't get angry so easily. You know, and she actually counterpoints with, you know, look, I am a woman. I have had to deal with a lot more aggravating stuff, like, you know, my male coworkers, you know, demean me. You know, I get catcalled on the street. You know, I have to deal with guys hitting on, you know, all that stuff. Like, I actually have a pretty decent control over my anger, but he's like, yeah, you still, because she wants to go back and be an attorney. She doesn't want to be a superhero. You know, and he's like, you still need a little bit more training. You still need to get into things. You still need to at least get some basic grasp of this. And, you know, slowly but surely, she, you know, again, she seems to move a lot quicker. She seems to, yeah, like, she seems to advance herself a lot quicker because of her abilities. You know, but he's still not sure. He'd much rather her try to be a superhero, you know, just in case she hulks out, you know, in the middle of a case or something. Gee, what do you think is going to happen? Excuse me. Yeah, sorry there. Allergies again. So, yeah, we're, you know, they have a kind of a big argument and fight, inadvertently destroy Bruce's tiki bar. She helps him rebuild, and he's like, okay, I think I'll let you go, but, you know, keep in touch if anything goes wrong. And so, yeah, that brings us back to the case. You know, early on, she was, you know, doing a practice run of her closing argument, and it's all about, you know, having power and knowing to be responsible and, you know, being this, excuse me again. Like I said, it's about, you know, great power and great responsibility. In this case, though, you'd think it's for, like, a supervillain or something, but no, it's some type of corporation, probably the Roxxon Corporation, which is the go-to evil business of the Marvel Universe. However, that gets interrupted by a super strong woman crashing literally into the courtroom, causing a lot of damage. Jennifer hulks out as Titania, so you'll probably get a bit more of her later in the episodes. Like I said, that's probably, again, where the length of this episode really is what's hindering it. It's just, again, I wish there had been more, because I was liking what I was seeing. I just, didn't feel like it was enough. Yeah, anyway, Jennifer beats her, and, she introduces herself as Jennifer Walters, attorney at law. And that's when we get to the credits. We then get a mid-credits sequence where Jen pretends to be drunk because it turns out Hulks can drink a lot of alcohol without getting affected by it. And she eventually gets Bruce to cave in and admit that Steve Rogers is not a virgin. He hooked up with a girl during the USO tour, so he at least had sex with at least one woman. And yeah, that's basically it. So no real plot advancement there if you're hoping for something. Still, though, like I said, overall, there's a lot to enjoy here. Like I said, cast chemistry is really good. I do find Ruffalo and Maslany to have they really do feel like, they had been close cousins or something like that. And again, good humor throughout much of it. Again, a lot of due to the banter between the characters. Not enough of Jen at her legal practice, unfortunately, which probably would have helped a little bit more. I do have to wonder, now that this gets revealed, are they going to do, they're obviously taking a lot from the Dan Slott run, where one of the ideas was Jen keeps getting fired from law firms because they want her to bring in the likes of Tony Stark or someone like that because of her superhero status. Obviously, I believe this is meant to take place, like I said, I believe this takes place after Endgame, so I do highly doubt we're obviously going to get a Tony Stark appearance in there, but still, I do have to wonder if something like that is going to play into it. Again, I guess the major complaint is the length of the episode, and it just didn't quite seem to satisfy every need for me. But still, it's like I said, it's very enjoyable. That's why I didn't want to drop it all the way down to a C, but I didn't want to give it anywhere higher than a B. So it's like, again, I had to go kind of into the B- territory there.
I'm Hulk and I will defeat you!
Okay, my turn.
I am the Hulk. I am Abomination.
Oh, I'm the Hulk. I'm so sad. I don't know how to defend myself. My
Right now at Burger King, you can collect all 6 Incredible Hulk toys, 1 per kids meal. Incredible Hulk toys are now at BK.
Okay, like I said before, the next video is going to be a review of the movie Beast. This is going to in all likelihood be up on Thursday. The Beast review is going to be up on Friday. Yeah, so after that, it's going to be kind of the big setup for episode 200 of the Random Trade Review. I really wish I was further along in scripting that than I am, unfortunately. This, without getting into too much detail, this house-sitting arrangement kind of came very sort of last minute. And, it's one of those kind of life just getting in the way. It's been rather hectic. I have to then prepare for another house-sitting arrangement next week. So, yeah, we're just, it's like I got to try to find enough time to get everything done, and it's really going to be a long episode, so I am just trying to see if I can get through everything and hopefully get this out on time. Like I said, I gave myself a pretty decent, at least 48-hour, maybe even more cushion to get the episode out just to be on the safe side, and it looks like I am probably going to need every bit of those 48 hours. It's not a bad thing, it's just, again, trying to find time to get everything done. That's just the hard part. But still, like I said, yeah, after that, the next 2 videos, yeah, so the next 2 videos will be, the build-up to episode 200 and then episode 200. After that, the next She-Hulk review will be in a couple weeks. So, I'm probably not even going to be able to watch next week's episode right away, again, because of the episode 200 thing. After that, I don't know. By that point, we're going to have to get an initial thoughts video on Madden coming out, because that comes out tomorrow as I'm recording this. So, like I said, a lot of stuff to do, not a lot of time to get anything done. That's basically the motif of this little end bit here. So, next, I guess, obviously I'll be reviewing the remainder episodes of She-Hulk when those come out. Cassius Andor, or Star Wars Andor, or whatever it's called, comes out at the end of that next month, at which point we're getting 3 episodes of that, so that's going to be preoccupying a lot of the time. There will probably be at least one theatrically released movie review in September. I just don't know what it's going to be. So, hopefully, and again, I remind you, I made the collages for those opening bits, and obviously so much has changed since then. Like, I put the Batgirl movie in there. Oops. The way things are going, I don't know if I would even want to subscribe to HBO Max right now. So, yeah, that kind of clunked, didn't it? Like I said, I'm going to try to get it to as many as I can. But there's still a lot of streaming stuff to cover. At least we got that going for us. So I'll wrap this up now. See you all next time. Hey guys, remember you can request a movie or a television series for me to review at my Patreon at patreon.com/CP Time for Cat Productions. Also, remember to like the video, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that you can be alerted to further videos.